This week for the Write It Down series, the focus or theme is about healing. And the journal prompt was asking, in what ways does your gifts or talents help you with healing? How does it help you understand yourself? How does it help you understand life? And then also, what changes have you seen within yourself? So I'm going to share my reflection and different parts of my journal prompt. Let's get into it. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, we about to write it down. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, write it down. Sometimes you get a journal prompt and you can answer it right away. Sometimes a journal prompt leads you down a completely different direction from where the prompt even started. If that happens when you're journaling, that's completely okay. The journal prompt is just supposed to help spark something. And sometimes it sparks, may not answer the question, but you were writing out something that you needed to release, something that you needed to put on paper. So last week was about intuition, right? How do you strengthen your intuition and things like that? So last week kind of fed into this week for me as well, because I realized how creativity helps me to strengthen my intuition, right? And there's this saying that I started to say all the time now, because one day it just hit me and I was like, creating saves me every time. And I didn't really need to explain that to myself. It was almost like it was completely understood. So that's exactly what I wrote about, creating saves me every time. And then I did get into some of the changes that I've seen within myself. So sometimes with journaling, you'll write in like paragraph format. Sometimes I write out like bullet points, and then sometimes it's just like a list, right? I'll stop, absorb what I just put on paper, let my mind wander a little bit into the question, into the ideas, into the response, things like that, and then write some more. So when I think about creating saving me every time, and I think about creativity strengthening my intuition, I started to think how my creativity and going on a creative pursuit, no matter what it is, and it doesn't have to be something that I want to sell or create into a business, is any type of creativity, any type of creation. So like cooking, you can go and explore that. Like sometimes I'll go into the store and I'm drawn to certain colors and I'll try something different, or I can see myself kind of cooking it already while I'm in the store. So that is creativity to me. Creativity involves problem solving. So every time I kind of go out and explore like a child with creativity and finding out things, it puts me in a meditative state to where I start to think about things, or I start to consider things. I start to reflect within myself on how I'm decision making. There's so many things that's happening internally in a simple process of like, I'm gonna go to the store, buy some flowers and put it together, right? That's just personally how I think and how I move. So any type of bringing something to light or creating something, to me, is what feels like brings me healing, right? It brings me understanding. It brings me closer to myself. It brings me closer to the Most High. There's so many things that for me that I find that I can create that's fulfilling to me, that brings me joy, that brings me happiness, and also brings me understanding, because through the process, like I said, there's so many things that's happening within myself that I'm able to reflect about, right? These are things that works for me. So creating or exploring, having visuals, problem solving. Sometimes you don't even know that there is a problem, right? So sometimes I can venture out and do something or go somewhere or have this type of experience that brings something out of me that I didn't even know was there. And that's sometimes the beauty of what's happening. So creating, exploring, going on that journey allows me to question, it allows me to build, it allows me to take apart and even expand what I see in myself, right? So, second part, changes I see within myself. So ever since I opened this door of being honest with myself and allowing that space of honesty to be filled with like unconditional love for myself, it really changed the game for me. It changed even the self-talk I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to say things that may be hurtful. I'm going to say things that may be good. I'm going to say things that may be bad. But the unconditional love that I allow myself to have, allow those honest things to have a place. You know what I'm saying? Without being like, why are you thinking like that? That's wrong. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was always an attack. When you feel like you always being attacked when you expressing yourself, you're not gonna go to that place and open yourself up and express yourself, right? So I'm doing this with myself, where like I'm saying something and I'm like beating myself in the head about things that I might be thinking about, right? So when I pulled back from that and gave myself unconditional love and allowed it to be like, you can be honest here, you can be open here, you don't have to judge yourself like this, right? It changed the game for me. Allowed me to learn how to be a good friend to myself. It allowed me to love myself, right? If I see myself doing something wrong, if I see myself going off a little bit, like, I'm gonna come and get me, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what's up and I understand that it's love, so I don't always see it as like an attack. So I built that relationship with myself. I'm still building that relationship with myself. I was right here to allow space to talk to myself with growth and love instead of hatred, because it's like, why you got to be dogging yourself out like that? Sometimes you have to straighten yourself out, but in certain spaces, it's like, you don't deserve the way you talking to yourself, so why are you doing it? I know that I only want good for myself. Like, I really truly feel that. I really truly understand that for myself, right? The way that I correct myself is much more in tune. And it happens so much faster than before, because it's like something will happen and I'm like not able to read and understand the situation and I get distracted by other things. But because I've instilled so much discipline, so much stillness in this routine, it's like, nigga, you not about to just hide from yourself. Like, where am I go? Like, if I go outside, I'm still taking me over there. So like, there's no escaping myself, right? And I got into the habit of not trying to escape, that it be just coming in when I don't even ask. I'll be like, sometimes like, all right, yo, get me together. Like, it's no games, right? And I accept that, right? I embrace that. So when it's a situation, a person, or anything, and there's a lesson there that I need for myself, I learned the lesson faster because I pay attention to how I'm triggered. So when I'm triggered, even if I'm not saying something or people are not aware of what's happening, I know when I'm triggered. I feel that shit in my body. Like, and those signals start to create these certain thoughts that I have within myself. So it's like these experiences highlight where I'm fucking wounded. So before, it used to be like, I didn't like how that feels comfortable. I didn't know what was going on, and I will run from that. But now it's just like, dang, I'm triggered. Dang, I see what's going on. Put the mirror up. Let me see my reflection in this situation. Like, I asked for that. I gotta know me for me, right? So even saying that, this is unrelated. I didn't write about this, but I was thinking about it. Because when I just said I gotta know me for me, I remembered that I had this thought. If I don't understand certain aspects of myself, I can sometimes allow other people's projection to sound like it's right for me. You know what I'm saying? So just being in tune with myself and knowing what I'm absorbing and what needs to be released, what's not. Like, to me, that's a power that I have been like reclaiming within myself, right? And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it takes work. It's like sometimes I don't even be mad at stuff that be happening. I be like, oh dang, like that's what I'm doing. Okay. Let's work on that. Like, you know, I even have fun finding creative ways to work on my healing, that it doesn't always, like, some of it is a heavy thing and I have to kind of go into these zones and isolations and things like that and discipline myself. But some aspects of it is like, I swear it's like the Most High, the way that the Most High speaks to me is through my creativity, is through my ideas. That's how I'm learning. That's literally how I'm learning about myself, and that's literally how I'm learning about life and understanding things. And there's still a lot of shit I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's still things that I can feel myself that I'm eager to know, and I know, like, all right, focus back over here. You know, I love being with myself. I love understanding myself, because it's like, I don't know, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so that is some of my reflection. That is some of my journaling and just whatever else you can get from this video. I'm glad that this happened, you know. Sunday, we have a new journal prompt. We're going to keep the Write It Down series going. That's all I got. Heard that beat. That's my time. Nah. Peace and love. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, we about to write it down. You know what you gotta do now. Grab a pen, write it down.